Council member for Chula Vista, John McCann, District 1, also one of the last two candidates going head-to-head for the seat of Chula Vista Mayor. Election date just about 3 weeks away. John, thank you for being with me today. We've got a couple questions for you and your competitor as well. Question number one is on homelessness. That has become a big topic in Chula Vista over the past couple of months. We know with the situation at Harborside Park near the school as well, we know there isn't an easy fix, but first part of the question for you on this topic, what will you do to address the homelessness issue in Chula Vista? 5 minutes on the clock, starting now. Go for it.
Thank you. We've actually been I've been part of the plan to be able to address homelessness. We want to get homeless off the street. In 2016, we created a homeless outreach team that would visit each homeless member at least once a week to be able to see how they can get them off the street, how they can get into rehab or a homeless shelter. So I've been part of the solution. Last year, or at the beginning of this year, we went ahead and did an RFP, request for proposal, to find out who was the best operator in the state of California to get homeless off our streets. That became CityNet. We then approved a bridge shelter, which is under construction and will be open in January. Again, I've put in the effort, I've put in the work to be able to make those tough decisions. As mayor, we're going to double the size of the bridge shelter. And in addition, I want to increase funding to the homeless outreach team. They've been very successful at getting homeless off the street and making sure that if somebody has an issue, whether it's alcohol, drugs, mental illness, to get them assistance. We care about people who live in Chula Vista, but we want to make sure that they get the help they need and get back into society. I also was there leading the charge to be able to tear down or close down Harborside Park. It wasn't a homeless issue, it was a crime issue. I'm endorsed by the Chula Vista police officers because they would constantly have criminal issues and activity going on at Harborside Park. Our number one priority is to protect our children. Being a father and having a wife, we know that we need to protect our children and families. The individuals and the students of Harborside Elementary School were having to go through Harborside Park and being witnessed to illegal activity and being confronted by some of these people who are doing criminal acts, and that was unacceptable. So I was 100% supportive of closing down Harborside Park to give it a way so we can re-engineer it and figure out how we can make sure that people who want to go to the park, families that want to go to the park, that their children are safe at the park, and that the parents and children of the Harborside community are safe and feel welcome.
All right, John, follow up to that. Seniors, we have seen that senior citizens are tending to make up a good chunk of the people experiencing homelessness in Chula Vista. How will you address that part of the issue, help them? Any thoughts on a shelter and to the senior citizens specific? We've got 1 minute, 48 seconds to go.
Sure. One of the projects that I'm working on is putting a senior center in our eastern area to be able to address senior citizens and make sure that they have a place to stay when they're low income. I've had a record of service, first being on the Planning Commission in the 90s, being 2 terms in the City Council, then getting mobilized to serve in the Navy, and then coming back on the City Council in 2014. And we've actually been successful at creating and operating a senior center for low-income seniors, and it's right next to the Sharp Health Hospital. They have the access and the care that they need to be able to do that. We want to do that in another eastern part of the territory, and I've been very supportive of the Norman Park Senior Center and the sympathy or the towers there that are next to the Senior Park or Norman Park Senior Center, do an incredible job of making sure that people who have spent all their time working and doing their job and being good in the city of Chula Vista have a place to stay in their senior years, and make sure that they're taken care of and making sure that they're not homeless.
All right, John, we've got 15 seconds left on that one. Is there anything else that you want to say real quick on that topic of homelessness?
Just again, our goal is, as mayor, I will increase funding to be able to get homeless off the street.
All right, and 3, 2, and 1. John, that is question number 1 done right there. There it is. All right. So topic number 2 is about development. So we obviously have Bayfront, the Bayfront redevelopment project, which is in the works. We'd like to know how you will see that into completion and guide that, and your thoughts on that, and also on other follow-ups on development that we will get to throughout the 5 minutes. So again, 5 minutes on the clock.
Sure. I grew up in Chula Vista. I'm a lifelong resident. I married my wife from Chula Vista, and we've been married for 24 years, raising our 4 children in Chula Vista, and now raising our grandchild, or assisting raising our grandchild in the city of Chula Vista. I'm completely invested in Chula Vista and have a connection to the city. When I was younger, my mom was worked at the Roar Aircraft Factory. And when my friends' parents would become a little more affluent, they would move out of the city of Chula Vista. I was there in the 90s to help plan and support and be part of the team, and then later approve when I was a council member in the early 2000s, the East Lake community. And East Lake for 10 years in a row was the best new home community in San Diego. I have the experience that understands the development. I understand that we need to be able to do development in a good way that protects the quality of our life. When you look at the master plan communities like East Lake, we have all the way from the mailroom housing to the boardroom housing. And people, as they grow, as they develop, as they become more affluent, can stay in a community and be able to raise their community. And I'm an example of that, as my wife and I have been married for 24 years, raising our kids. As we got a little more affluent, we were able to stay in the same community. And we want that not just for the eastern side, but we want to make sure that that's in the western side. I was blessed and honored to be on the city council in 2003, where we decided to master plan the Bayfront. The Bayfront now is approved after almost 2 decades. Went through 21 different bureaucratic agencies, and it's creating 4,000 new construction jobs, 4,000 permanent jobs, and is now under construction. And it is going to be the revitalization of our western communities, our older communities where I grew up in. I played Little League at Max Field. I went ahead and learned how to swim at Loma Verde. I have been a leader in making sure that we can build sidewalks and underground power lines and fill potholes. With that new development of the Gaylord $1.2 billion project, I want to make sure that we're using some of those funds to be able to do a program like we did in the early 2000s, to be able to build sidewalks, underground power lines, and make sure that we're reinvesting in our infrastructure on the western community.
John, same idea of development, but you're talking about planned communities. Thoughts on affordable housing? That's another big thing a lot of people are worried about. Rents going up, home prices going up. We've got 1:45 still on the clock for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have been a leader in being able to get affordable housing. What I'm pushing, though, for is affordable ownership. Even when my mom was a single mom factory worker, she was still able to afford a home in Chula Vista. Nowadays, it's difficult. My children are at the age of getting out of college now, and when they're looking to potentially buy a place, they can't afford a $500,000 condo. They aren't wealthy. What I'm doing is making sure that we're working with the developers to be able to not only do affordable rental housing, but affordable ownership. And I led the effort in Sunbow to do a deal with and creating 718 new affordable home ownership opportunities. These units will be for sale. They will be, again, the entire project will be for sale for ownership. And when you are somebody who is working in the city of Chula Vista, it will be a great opportunity, whether you're a police officer, a nurse, or another person who's working in the city of Chula Vista. You can actually now be able to afford those projects because it'll start in the high 300,000s. And we want people to not only live here, but we want them to be able to purchase homes in the city of Chula Vista so they have that investment and have that stake. Just like when my wife and we own our home and went ahead and raised our family, and we love Chula Vista.
All right, John, that is the end of that. The timer is going off for the 5 minutes on development.
Thank you.
Question number 3 that we've got for you here, another 5 minutes as well, is why you and not your competitor? Why should voters turn out to support you? What realistic changes can constituents expect to see if you're elected to that mayor seat? 5 minutes, one more time on the clock for you. Take it away.
Sure. I'm 100% invested in Chula Vista. I love our city. My wife and I, again, both grew up in Chula Vista. We've been married for 24 years, owning a house in Chula Vista, raising our kids, and now helping raise our grandson. You want somebody who's fully 100% vested in the city of Chula Vista. I'm the only one who has been. And I have a record of service, of being a Navy veteran, of making sure that I've been on multiple boards and commissions, the Planning Commission, the Housing Commission, being on the council for 2 terms in the early 2000s, then having to serve in the Navy for a while, and then coming back on the council in 2014 for another 2 terms. You want the highest elected official in the city of Chula Vista to have service and a connection to the city of Chula Vista. I'm the only candidate who has that service. My opponent, he disagrees with this, but I have almost a perfect attendance at the city council meetings, and I've only seen him there ever one time. And all the other people that have been at the council meetings consistently have only seen him one time being at the city of Chula Vista. He ran for Congress multiple times in East County, and per his own words, he said he was born and grew up in East County, that he essentially was a East County person, and he ran on that multiple times. He then had a failed attempt to try to run for assembly, again, not in the city of Chula Vista. Now he's using a relative's address to put down that he's running for mayor, even though there was an investigation that happened, that the Postal Service showed that his primary address, mailing address, was in San Diego, that Amazon delivered his packages personally to the address in San Diego. And lastly, that again, over 70 videos over 32 days showed that he was living not in the city of Chula Vista, but that he was living in the city of San Diego. We don't need to have somebody who is just using this as a stepping stone to run for Congress. He even had a congressional website that he's recently taken down when he was essentially looking to run for Congress because he thought, hey, he's just going to win the race. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that the citizens of Chula Vista can be bought, and that I don't believe the mayor's race can be bought. I think they want somebody like me who is endorsed by the Chula Vista Police Officers Association, who have been tough on crime, who have signed a no new taxes pledge, and who has been out there fighting against the mileage tax. They don't want somebody coming in from nowhere buying the election. Again, I am tough on crime. That's why I'm endorsed by not just the Chula Vista Police Officers Association, but several other police officers organizations in the county. And my opponent is a Washington bureaucrat. He's somebody who was in Washington and then was on committees in Sacramento being soft on crime. I've been in the trenches in Chula Vista being tough on crime. I've been the one who's been fighting tax increases, whether it's the mileage tax, the gas tax, or the sales tax increases. And that's why I have a broad base of support. I'm endorsed by the National Latino Police Officers Association Advocacy Group. I'm endorsed by the Latino American Political Association. I'm endorsed by the San Diego County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I'm endorsed by the Chula Vista Employees Association. I'm endorsed by the Pacific Southwest Association of Realtors, the San Diego County or the San Diego Association of Realtors, by the Building Industry Association. I can go on, but I've worked with them. They trust me. I've built that trust, and I'm the only one who's been involved for the last 3 decades in the city of Chula Vista. And that's why I've been elected 5 times. We can't have somebody who has no experience, who's just looking for a job, looking for a stepping stone to be the mayor of Chula Vista. We need somebody with experience who's has been endorsed by the Chula Vista police officers and who has been willing to fight and go out and oppose the mileage tax to protect our residents of city of Chula Vista.
All right, John, right on time. That is 5 minutes for that topic. We're going to go ahead and cancel that timer. And we've got one more question for you. This one is 2 minutes to address your voters or the people that you want to vote for you. 2 minutes as we zero in on election day to use as you'd like, what constituents can expect from you, the last couple of words you'd like to say to them. We will set this at 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. I would just respectfully say that I would appreciate everybody's vote in Chula Vista. I asked for your vote. I've been a council member, again, 4 times, elected in the city 5 times. I love Chula Vista. It's where, again, I grew up, my wife grew up, 24 years of marriage, raising our children in Chula Vista. I want Chula Vista to be even better than it is right now for my children and my grandchildren. I know that I've been the only one with a record of service and a results that have been successful. We've been able to build up our police force, hiring over 140 officers, making Chula Vista one of the safest cities in the San Diego County. We've been able to actually get the Bayfront approved and now is under construction, a $1.2 billion project creating 4,000 construction jobs, 4,000 permanent jobs. And I'm the one who's been able to, out of the 21 parks in the city, approve those, 6 out of the 10 fire stations, and build a new police station. And I will also build a new substation on the Eastern Territories, making sure that we are the safest city in the county. You can go to johnmccann.com. That's JOHNMCCANN.com. I'd love to get your support, answer any questions. I have been here, again, with my wife, fighting for my community in the trenches for 30 years. And I hope that you will vote for somebody who is committed to Chula Vista and have proven results. I love Chula Vista, and I respectfully would honor to get your vote in by November and become the next mayor, because this is the city, it's my hometown, and I love it.
All right, John, right on time. That is 2 minutes for that one. Council member for District 1 currently, John McCann, running for the seat of Chula Vista Mayor here. Election day just a few days away. John, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Jesse.